Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, September 14th, 2012. I'd like to give a special acknowledgement to all of our Radio Newark listeners. Welcome aboard again. Once again, turmoil is roiling the Middle East. Demonstrations are occurring in Yemen, Tripoli, Cairo, and in Damascus. Protests in front of American facilities and embassies all over the internet-based Coptic refugee-produced movie about the life of the Prophet Muhammad. I have not yet encountered anybody who has seen it, much less heard of it, other than these news reports. The U.S. stock market is churning away, high, and it's largely because of the activities of one man, Ben Bernanke, the Federal Reserve Board chairman, has taken the bull by the horns and has pledged that the Fed will buy bonds until the economy gets better. The central bank yesterday announced its third round of large-scale asset purchases since 2008. It's also known as quantitative easing 3, QE3. Stocks rallied, sending benchmark indexes to the highest level since 2007. Gold climbed after the Federal Reserve announced it would buy $40 billion of mortgage debt each month and not stop. It's going to keep going. Mr. Bernanke is putting his money where his mouth is. South Africa is faced with continuing turmoil right now. The government and the striking miners hardened their stances today, with platinum miners rejecting a wage increase offer from the Lonmin Mining Corporation as far below their demand. 45 people have already been killed by the police who have been shooting at strikers. The Justice Minister, Jeff Radebe, said the government must intervene because the mining industry is central to the economy of Africa's richest nation. He said this government will no longer tolerate illegal gatherings and brandishing of weapons this way. The Justice Minister refused to say whether police would shoot again this weekend at strikers as they protest. Here's incredibly bad news. Up to 25% of Thailand has been inundated by flooding. Yes, this is true. This is this year. It's not a repeat of last year. 25% of the country is about a meter underwater right now as a result of heavy rain flooding rivers that have overflowed their banks. There are now concerns that the government failed to act fast enough to strengthen the flood defenses after last year's devastations. So far, 4 people have died. Thailand registered only 0.1% economic growth in 2011 as a result of the floods which swept through major industrial areas. Flood defenses, however, at 7 key industrial zones around Bangkok that were badly hit last year apparently are holding. One commentator said Japanese companies are satisfied with the earth flood barriers we built this year, and we're ready if the water reaches us. Knock on wood on that one. Further evidence of the rise of natural catastrophe losses in so-called non-peak zones has emerged, with new data showing 35% of insured losses over the last 3 years have now occurred in Asia, taking the region ahead of the U.S. in terms of having the largest share of insured loss activity. It's perhaps time to change Asia from a non-peak zone and put the U.S. as the non-peak zone. This was in stark contrast to the global distribution of natural cat losses between 2002 and 2008, when more than 75% of all insured losses did occur in the United States. UIB, United Insurance Brokers, has picked up another big contract. They're going to be providing the reinsurance protection placement on behalf of the Perovo Solar Park, the largest facility of its kind in Europe. The second major renewable energy project contract UIB has won in recent months. 2 months ago, they agreed to terms to represent part of a big Texas wind farm. There's a big volcano that's active right now about 25 miles southwest of Guatemala City in Guatemala. The Fuego volcano has erupted, sending ash about 19,000 feet into the sky. About 11,000 people have been evacuated. 8,000 more are awaiting transfer to shelters. For the moment, one seismologist said, or actually a volcanologist to be precise, the strength of the eruption has not calmed. 2 lava flows, each about 2,000 feet long, are heading down sides of the volcano. And if you're in Sofia, Bulgaria, listening to this and you're tied up, it's because the departure section of Terminal 2 of the International Airport was closed briefly earlier today because a cigarette had been discarded in an ash can. The terminal is open now. 6 Chinese ships have sailed, these are Navy ships, have sailed into waters around disputed islands with Japan. Beijing said that the ships are there for so-called law enforcement. The move has been dubbed unprecedented by Tokyo. It came earlier today as it was reported that Japanese citizens have been physically attacked in China, marking the latest stage in deteriorating relations between Asia's 2 biggest economies. The Japanese have warned their citizens living or visiting in China to take extra precautions after assault and harassment were reported to the consulate in Shanghai, which is a base for Japanese businesses as well as a popular tourist destination. The Yankees are still in first place in the American League East. Let's see if we can say this on Monday. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching.